Let's talk a little bit about Colorado starting a new quarterback. When we talked about Colorado every single time during this offseason, we talked about two names besides Deion Sanders, of course, and Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. So yeah, really five names, but we talked about two names at the quarterback position. We talked about JuJu Lewis and we talked about Kaidon Salter. Part of that because of Lewis's highly recruited status, and partly because we thought Kaidon, former Liberty Flame, would be the starter because of the experience. Colorado shocked everybody today, and they're going with a different quarterback. Let's talk about it.
Ryan Staub. I mean, I've been saying since the beginning, Ryan Staub looks great in practice. He is the guy, TJ. I was pretty much first on this one. At first,
I was like, wait a minute, did you say that?
Who could have ever seen Ryan Staub? I think it was such a funny visual to see Deion Sanders like almost relieved after their win this week against Delaware, where post game he's just got like his arm in my brain. It was both arms and like a kiss on the cheek around Ryan Staub. Like he'd finally found his guy. Martin Luther Staub, I think is what he called him. It was it was a wild, and this is where I think Deion Sanders proves again, and he's continued to, he's a good football coach. He's a guy who's not going to, just because JuJu is a 5-star prospect, just because Kaidon Salter is probably making more money in NIL than Ryan is, doesn't mean those are the guys who start. And there's a picture of Staub who's holding out his watch. He's doing the Shedeur this past weekend against Delaware. And here's where I think it's the opposite of Deion's ego. This isn't Deion stroking an ego. It's going down to the third string quarterback saying, If we can win games, with a third string quarterback, with a guy that nobody thought was going to be able to ball out in game, but he is ultimately the guy who can help us win, we're going to do that. We're going to go there. It's not sexy. ESPN's not talking right now about how JuJu is not the starter. I mean, if JuJu was or Kaidon was the starter for Colorado moving forward, maybe they are talking about it. This sexy transfer from Liberty or this kid that could be a stud true freshman. No. Deion's going with the best opportunity to win. And if you have a big ego, you keep your 5-star in there. If you got a big ego, you keep your NIL transfer in there and try to prove to the country that I'm a good recruiter and these guys are ready and I can develop within a couple of months. But this isn't about ego. This is about college football wins and what Colorado can do to best position themselves to try to win a Big 12 championship this year, even with a team that I don't think will compete for a Big 12 championship. Now Deion Sanders is saying, hey, I'm a real football coach and my ego's out the door. I don't care what your name is, what your accolades are, what you did before here, what you could do here as a 5-star. I'm going to go with our best shot. That's why Staub's the quarterback, and let's see it, I guess. Why not? The other two guys were struggling, really struggling out of their minds against Georgia Tech. And we saw Kaidon Salter struggle mightily against Georgia Tech, then against Delaware. Didn't feel like there was a smooth rhythm until Staub came in. That's when it became, Colorado's ball game. That's why he was 7 for 10. 157 yards. It's 15.7 yards per pass and a couple of touchdowns as well. He had a 99 QBR. He's your guy.
This is just truly a swap, right? Like there's not like a behind the scenes injury or there's not something that's happened. Like this is just truly, we think this guy is better, which is interesting, right? Like, yeah, if it came out a couple of days, he tweaked this thing and that's why he wasn't playing well. But to just go to him, it really does say a lot for Deion, right? Like we don't really think about Deion being a humble guy. And that's not a shot. He literally has the name Prime Time. But I do think it says a lot for him to say, listen, my pride doesn't matter. We're trying to win games here. And they'll try to start to do that on the road at Houston on Friday night. Thoughts on how Staub will perform in this game against a Houston team that, look, they've got their own issues, right? But thoughts on that a little bit.
Yeah. Here's where I get a little... This is not a knock on Deion. This is not a knock on Colorado. It's not a knock on Ryan and what he is able to do and his possible success further at Colorado this season. Very brutal that your first week starting, you have to face a defense that has allowed 9 points over the first 2 games. A team that has outscored its opponents 62-9. Now, granted, it was against Stephen F. Austin and on the road against Rice. Neither of those are very good opponents. But man, TJ, Houston last season looked really, really good, even in losses, because the defense was great. This year, their defense is elite. They have built out something that it's going to have to be the schematic for Colorado. It doesn't matter what quarterback you have in there. You could have Johnny Manziel at quarterback, and maybe you win the game with Johnny Manziel. Well, you're going to struggle against a guy like Willie Fritz, who can scheme against defense. His defense against USC when he was the head coach at Tulane won the Cotton Bowl, right? He outthought Lincoln Riley. That's how you know you've got a good defensive coach leading your program. That's the case here. I don't have confidence that he can whip it around the yard for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns this week. Maybe he does. I don't think he does, though, against Houston. Colorado's going to have to really try to grind this out, play solid defense against the Cougars, and allow the Buffs defense to win this game. I think they're in a better shot to win if they can try to corral Houston and hold the Cougars to 13 points, which is possible, because I still don't know if I fully trust Connor Wegman.
I would like to see if the Colorado defense can bring it, right? And I'd like to see if Colorado can capitalize on some mistakes. Georgia Tech tried to give them that game in the first half, and Colorado said, no thanks, right? Like all the turnovers, all the short fields, all the extra possessions, they just weren't able to get it done. So that really intrigues me, because we've talked about this. The schedule in the Big 12 does not let up. Every week is a possible win, but every week is also a possible loss in this conference. There's just too much talent, and it's too even. And so I do think that if you start to look at it and you say, man, if we barely scrape by Delaware State, we need our third string to do that. What do we look like once we get into conference play? And we'll find out this week for sure.
Yeah. It's tough, TJ. Again, I feel kind of torn about this because I predicted Colorado to have at least a 7-5 bowl season. But now looking down their schedule, if they don't have a quarterback, if he's not the answer, man, BYU in a couple of weeks, TCU on the road, Iowa State, Utah on the road. Now Arizona looks a lot tougher. They end the season with Arizona State and then on the road against Kansas State. That's just kind of a gauntlet of a schedule. You know, you hope that Kansas State doesn't figure it out by the end of the year. If you're Colorado, you hope West Virginia doesn't figure it out or Arizona drops off the face of the earth. But again, Utah, Iowa State, TCU, and BYU, 4 consecutive weeks. That's really tough to reckon with. If you're Deion and company, it's going to be hard to face off against the Big 12 opponents that are so stout. You've got to keep the faith. That's going to, Deion's mentioned a lot of that in the offseason. Keep the faith in this program. Even if they lose a few games, start out 2-5. You can finish strong. Start out 2-4. You can finish strong. And the hope is in Boulder, that's the case. Pause. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. It's exactly where I go to make my best bets every single week. FanDuel keeps me going this college football season with my best bets. You'll get those tomorrow, actually, and I'll give them to you where you can go to FanDuel on the app and bet on the NFL or college football. They're making sure that you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer, by the way. $5 bet, and if it wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. That's right, $5 to win $300 in bonus bets if your bet hits. Yep. It's all you got to do is download the app. FanDuel.com. FanDuel.com. You're ready to play. Download the app right now. $5 bet. If it hits, you win $300 in bonus bets. That's all thanks to FanDuel. Today's show is also brought to you by Monarch Money. I'm 24. I'm 24 years old. I don't know what I'm doing with my money. Whether it's your 401k, properties, investments, though, Monarch Money is here to fix that. They fixed it for me. All-in-one personal finance. It's this tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or even your phone. Built for people with busy lives. If you put off organizing finances, Monarch can do it instantly. Get organization and categorization of your spending. Finally, feel free and in control. Identify what you're saving and what you're not saving and how to save even more, maximizing your investments and increasing your savings rate. Don't let the financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDON college at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDON college in your browser. Do it today.